Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of episode 4 of the Joshi Dream Cast. With me is Trent. From last time, I just remembered because I forgot, Stardom runs so much that, and this shows every other week that, you just happen to be on back-to-back episodes. But
let's be honest, the people demanded it. We know.
Yeah, sure. Of course. No, sure. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know who the people are, but sure. No, I'll give you that. But
the person in my mirror was a big fan of the last show, so there you go.
That's good enough. But I thought it would be good to bring you back because, I always enjoy talking Stardom with you. We got TJPW out of the way to kick off the show because I know a lot of people are excited about that. And this show, for a card that didn't necessarily stack up from like a top to bottom card like that TJPW show, boy, oh boy, did it come out with more news than any show you could have asked for, because that's what Stardom does. People will be like, oh, it's just a top heavy card with chill. And then that's what you think? Drops one bomb here, one bomb there. Like they don't stop. And you and me have talked about this many times. They don't stop. But this time around, we have so much to get to. It's very exciting. We have kind of a pay-per-view to talk about. Two kinda in the future that we'll briefly touch on at the end, but it's important we talk a little bit about New Blood 3 because I didn't have that as part of the funky graphic, but there was at least one match on there that everyone needs to go out of their way to see, and it's the match. I'm
guessing that's not Waka versus Ram Kai Chao.
No. If you actually could just skip that match, you'd probably be better off.
Please do. For many reasons.
Many reasons. The match wasn't all that good if you just want to talk match-wise, but
like a completely forgettable match. But that wasn't the reason.
I wish I could forget it. I wish I could forget it.
I actually don't remember anything about what happened in the match outside of the finish.
No,
and what caused me to just.
I don't even think I can remember the finish.
It was the not the mist, the powder.
The powder,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna talk Mirai versus Suzuki because this is the match we hyped up last time we were on here, and I think it's funny because it was a week removed from a show that had Mirai and Ami Sourei challenge for the tag titles, and I walked away from that saying, oh my God, we need to just chill out here. And this comes from someone that's very much a Mirai fan. I'm very openly a Mirai fan. I enjoy her work. But, you need to pump the brakes in some ways. You can't give her title match after title match after title match. It becomes too much. And that would be for any wrestler not named Mayu Iwatani for me, truthfully. So, Mayu Iwatani is the only one allowed to do that. And she doesn't do that. She gets one, every 6 months. So, for me, I think that was one of the main problems going into this match. I was like, oh, well, my hype's a little down because that tag match was kind of really a nothing match, and I don't blame them. They had to go to 30 minutes, but the God's Eye stuff wasn't connecting as much, and it still has work to do. But when you watch this match, you're like, oh, this is why Mirai is getting pushed the way she is. And it helps that you're wrestling someone that after this past week of what she's done in every promotion possible, I'm ready to put Suzuki in best of the world conversation. It's very bold because she's 19 years old, but when she's doing this great work in every promotion she's in, it's hard to not give her at least some credit of being in that conversation. I'm not saying she is the best, but I think she at least belongs in the conversation.
She's sitting at the table. She's partaking in the food and the drink. And look, I think it's very wise of you to be jumping on now because obviously with the 5-Star Grand Prix coming, more people are going to see what she's capable of, and that discussion will probably be a bit louder at the end of the tournament. You get in now, you can point at the day and go, yeah, I'm ahead of the curve. I called it already. So
as I often am, no big deal. Always ahead of the curve. Whatever, it's fine. But let's get to the match. The match, it went to a 15-minute draw, as expected. We couldn't have expected anything else. The good news is we get to see it again. Yeah, another 15 minutes sprint. And this was the match where I literally tweeted when it was over. I was like, this is why we're excited for the 5-Star Grand Prix. This is what they can do in 15 minutes. they don't need the extra 5 to put on match of the year candidates. This wasn't a match of the year candidate, but it was great. Okay, it was great. And but my point is, like, when you get, Shuri and Utami in there for 15 minutes, I don't know what they're going to do in 15 minutes. That's very short for them, but you get the point.
They can sprint. They've proven it before. They can jump straight into it. They did it with the last 5-star Grand Prix. You compare how that match was paced compared to the others. Night and day difference. I think the big thing, obviously, is 15 minutes. Like, we look at these epics as being match of the year candidates, and there are some people who will do the 20 minutes and under, 15 minutes under, who like to use that as your barometer. It's more difficult to maybe get that recognition with a sub 15 minute match, but there's no reason why the talent here can't showcase in 15 minutes what either A, makes you go, that's worthy of being in discussion, or at the very least B, going, well, I can't wait till they do that again, which is what the 5-star and the Cinderella has always done. They've given you matches and given you a teaser for what could be in the future.
Yeah. So this was the perfect teaser for what the 5-star Grand Prix is going to be. You would have, and this was a funny thing going on Twitter afterwards. They're like, Prominence has no idea the difference between DDM and God's Eye. They don't care. They don't care at all. They are the same to them, and that's all that matters. I was like, you make a great point. That is exactly what's happening here, which is really cool to see. And Suzu and Mirai went in there. They killed it for 15 minutes. Just a vicious fight. It honestly had no right to be as vicious as it was, but it's Suzu. So you kind of expect it. That's her style now. Yeah. And Mirai was up for the challenge. That was really the biggest question, I think, because we know what Suzu can do as a vicious wrestler. Could Mirai step up? And not only did she step up, I think she hit a home run. One of her best matches of her career, plain and simple. No questions asked.
It was very interesting she was willing to do that on a New Blood show too, which is, it's free on YouTube. It doesn't have quite the same grandeur as a pay-per-view level show. She didn't have to match Suzu Suzuki with that kind of viciousness, including shoot headbutts, which, for better or worse, are a staple of the Stardom We're Getting Serious match. She matched her with that. So she was out there to showcase. Yeah, it wasn't Stardom in Showcase, but she was there to showcase.
No, it wasn't Stardom Showcase. It was Suzu and Mirai in Showcase instead. But this is a match you should go back and watch. We're not going to do the whole breakdown, but it was more so I just wanted to point it out because it is on YouTube. Go to that New Blood 3 show. It's right in the middle. Check that out. It's a must watch. It's a legitimate must watch. It's the best match. Then turn off. You can watch Julia and Miyu too if you want, because I think Miyu is really good at getting her bleep beat.
Yeah, that was fine. But at this stage, when you see one Miyu getting her butt kicked, you've seen most of them.
Well, that's not true. She's a main eventer in this one. Yes. I know main event Miyu. This is what happens when you're the draw, Trent. You gotta just understand that. She is the draw. She is the reason this entire New Blood thing exists, I'm pretty sure. So, anyways, watch that. It's on the Stardom YouTube channel. Let's get to MidSummer Champions. There's going to be this problem that I'm going to see on with a lot of people. So this show was called MidSummer Champions. That's it. Yes. The next normal pay-per-view is called MidSummer Champions 2022 in Nagoya. So I'm gonna say the Nagoya one every time I say that one. This is just MidSummer Champions. This is the one we're reviewing. I just want to point that out because the next time I'm on here reviewing, it will be that one. And
you've got more words to say then.
Oh yeah. Big pay-per-view. But let's get to this. We didn't get to see the first match of the show. Not that I really needed to for any reason, but I still like to see every match. I'm sure they'll upload it to Stardom World. But I believe who won? Hina? Was it Hina?
Lady C won.
That makes sense.
Because that was not surprising, but surprising. Given the way they use her, I didn't necessarily expect her to win, but
I've noticed her getting a couple wins recently. Not a lot, but more than Lady C gets. And I think we know why now, which we'll talk about later, of why she was getting a couple wins. But yeah, she won. We didn't get to see it, so we're not going to talk about it.
I heard she did a 450.
If she did a 450, then they robbed us. They robbed us big time. But let's talk future of Stardom Championship. We have the greatest future of Stardom champion of all time, Hana, defending her title against, well, Waka Tsukiyama. And I feel like my statement is backed up more than ever because of this match. Because somehow, despite Waka Tsukiyama having a big time 0 wins to her name, they had a really, really entertaining, really good match. The near falls in this match might have been the best all night, which is saying something because we had some good ones. It was really good. It was a good effort by both. Waka did really, really good. I think as part of the reason why I said on the last time we did this was I don't know if I want her to ever win because it just adds so much to her damn matches when they're important, of course. I don't really care about the ones that aren't important. She's not going to win a random match in where are there normal shows that aren't Corkin?
I mean, look, they're running all over
at KBS Hall, right? Yeah, they're not. She's not going to win a random match at KBS Hall. So this was just so enhanced by how much you kind of were like, oh, she should have won, but she could. She could.
I had not convinced myself that she would win this, but there was a part of me going, I could see Stardom doing the first win being a championship after being kind of gifted the opportunity. A part of me believed that could have happened. I wasn't surprised Hanan won, especially going into the 5-star. But there was just that part of me. Probably, I believed Waka winning more than any of the other challenges on this show.
It's important that Hanan has that title going into the Grand Prix because it's kind of like her ticket. It's kind of like her meal ticket of why she's in it, why she didn't have to compete in that the qualifier. And I keep saying this, the fact that she's having these matches against the lower talent, right? 8-minute sprints, she is going to excel in the 5-star Grand Prix. If the wrestler she's wrestling, just give her a little. You don't have to give her all the offense in the world. You can lead, obviously, but if you're going to go 8-9 minutes, I think she can have a really good tournament. She's going to grow a lot. But man, she's proving a lot of Stardom people right. It was still very early in her career, but she's growing. This title has become hers. Like, this is her title. When we see the future of Stardom title in the future, that's Hanan's title. Just a great reign, great match. I didn't think I was going to come out of this saying great match between Waka and
Waka. Like, the difference between her at New Blood and the difference with her at this show was night and day. And it wasn't just because of her opponents. Like, Waka brought in a certain energy and like aggressiveness to this match that was completely missing on the New Blood show, which was kind of surprising because that was the quote unquote grudge match. There was a story around that outside of, oh, there's a championship. But from the start of the bell in this show, Waka just kind of went at it as best she could. And she looked so much better. Yeah, obviously, working with Hanan, a great person to be working with. But it wasn't just who she was in the ring with. Her focus was different. And that was really appreciated, if nothing else.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I just think this is going to people. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I don't feel like it. Never mind. It's a match worth going out of your way.
Chuck that one on the Patreon. Make them pay for it.
Exactly. It's really short. It's a very easy watch. It's a very easy watch. It gets your heart racing a little bit if you especially if you somehow are listening to this and didn't know the result. Hopefully you watched it without knowing the result because it made it that much better. And that's what live experience does oftentimes. So
that's why we pay Rossi the big bucks every second week these days.
Exactly. Like, if you go into Hanan's defenses, this is closer to the top than the bottom. Let's just say that. I think that's a credit to both of them. But let's move on here. We're gonna kind of steamroll through these next two matches. Utami Hayashida and Miyu Amasaki teamed against Mirai and Ami Sarai. Went essentially exactly how you expected.
Yeah.
You know, Amasaki shows some life, shows some fight. In the end, she loses.
Utami came out. That's about the extent of what she did. Yeah.
Yeah. Utami's having a nice vacation right now. And she's gonna come back from vacation at the
more
5-star.
5-star than her, and that includes Thekla, who's still on the bench.
No, I firmly expect Utami to have the best tournament of her life after
she
this.
Better.
Like she has to. She hasn't done anything else. You know, people make jokes of like, oh, you know, Brock Lesnar's never around. No, Tommy's kind of never around. She's just kind of like shows up and is like, hey, how you doing? I'm here. I did the entrance for you, and now I'm going to the back because we lost.
I'm surprised she hasn't just come out in just like her, track pants or just a t-shirt or something. Give us the full Naito experience from her.
Oh, she should. She should. You know, there wasn't much to this. Mirai and Ami Sourei have a title match coming up, so obviously they won. I do like the team of Utami and Miyu, and like if we ever get to a time where, which we should, because Miyu's gonna grow, and I would like to see them actually be more of a tag team down the road when Miyu's, you know, they allow her to do more, because I think they have a good dynamic, at least, of like the leader and the rookie. Sure. Mayu Itani, Hazuki, Koguma, Saida lost to Saki Kashima, Ruaka, Rina, and Fuki in death because, well, there's a reason. We know the reason now. But when it happened, I was like, really?
Like, everyone was confused by this at the time.
Like this, and she pinned Ida. So like, you know, people are starting, the pitchforks were coming out. Like it was bad, you know, because Ida had, I've been making this like, it's a timely joke. I won't lie to you. I've been making the Jungle Kiona comparisons because I think Saida's on her way to kind of being in the same road. You know, she has a great following. She's a really good wrestler, but she loses a lot.
Yeah.
Now Jungle didn't lose like this. You know,
no.
Jungle wasn't losing.
Jungle was decently protected outside of actual title matches.
Yeah, she just lost. But I think Ida's going to get to that point down the line, and she's going to lose the title match, which is tough. But you know what? Everyone needs that role, that, you know, babyface that everyone wants to see win. We'll talk about Jungle a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, this was a match. It was definitely a match that happened.
Yeah, the bell rang, they did some stuff, and then, really, the only thing that really sticks out from this was the finish with Rina getting the pin over Saida. Nothing else really stood out about it. Outside of Fukigen Death was fun at the start with Koguma, which isn't that surprising. It makes sense that they would work really well together. But that little opening section was fun, but the rest of it's all pretty forgettable. Like if this was on a random weekend Stardom show in KBS or Sendai, it wouldn't have felt out of place at all.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation soon of how Rina has better impact finishers than like the majority of the roster at this point. She has the gory bomb. She got those double knees. Like Azumi has the numero uno. That's it. Like or you know, like a roll up. Like all these, like there's these wrestlers that are much higher on the card, and I'm like, oh wow, like Rina has real moves. Like what are we doing here? why do people that are higher up the card have less moves? It's just a funny thing that I noticed here, but we'll get to why Rina won.
Rina's a student of the game.
Yeah, so this is rarely where we pick it up now. Azumi defending the high speed championship against Momo Kogo. I had my doubts. I said it on here last time. I had my doubts. I said, what can Momo Kogo do in a match against the high-speed wrestler who never slows down? She did really well. That's what she did. She did really well. She proved me wrong, and it's because they knew, right? They were smart about it. They knew Azumi couldn't do the, you know, super high speed, and anytime that she tried, Momo had some way to stop her. That 619 when Azumi was up on the ropes and it cleared her out. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
This was the match of Momo Kogo's career, and it was a coming out party for her. Now we'll give all the credit we want to Azumi because she's on this phenomenal run as high speed champion. But I got to give credit to Kogo. She went out there, she rose up to the occasion, and it's big credit to her.
I said it on the last show. Azumi is someone who you can have a great match with, but she's not going to necessarily make it easy for you like a Mayu or Momo will. Momo Kogo had to earn this great match by keeping up with even a slightly slowed down Azumi, but keeping up with her and delivering as well as she was receiving. And having seen what she's done prior to this match, I had hope that it would be good, but I could not have expected it to be on the level that it was. Obviously, Azumi is on a phenomenal run with the high speed. Like you said, Hanan has the future championship. As far as I'm concerned, the high speed is Azumi's championship. Over Starlight Kiddo for Hazuki, even Natsuka Taiyo. This is Azumi's championship. But Momo Kogo delivered the match of her career and by considerable margin. I can't think of another match that gets close to what she did here.
No, it showed all that potential that a lot of people knew she had. It takes some time for certain people to put it together. And I did see someone make this comparison. I'm not saying it's the exact same, but there was a comparison to a young Mayu Iwatani. And
I did see that comparison, yeah.
And I thought about it because obviously, like, you know, you and me, my big Mayu fans, blah, blah, blah. And I, you know, when I first read, I'm like, and then you think about it, take a step back. You know, they kind of have the same type of lanky body, like same build. They, you know, Mayu wasn't the best right out the gate. She took time to become the best. And you're kind of seeing that with Momo Kogo now. I'm like, I kind of see the comparison. Now, do I think Momo Kogo is going to go and become Mayu Iwatani? No. But I get where they're coming from. And if she can become a half of Mayu Iwatani, she's going to have a great career.
Oh, yeah. If she becomes a poor man's Mayu Iwatani, I'm still going to be a massive fan of hers because that's a really exciting premise. I actually think she's almost like just a touch above where Mayu was comparatively.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily see that potential, just pure ceiling potential that Mayu Iwatani had. Even, obviously you go back to watch Mayu's first matches and she was a bit clumsy, she was a bit awkward, but you could still see, like, if she can piece it together, there's something there. There's a reason why Rossi looked after her so much pre the icon that she became.
Yeah, and Momo Kogo is learning from the right people. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And also, can we just say, like, Azumi's double foot stomp, she's hitting it from further out. I'm pretty sure that was
one
over
of my
halfway.
Favorites. I thought this foot stop was one of my favorites. It felt the most impactful. By the way, her having that numero uno, just a fantastic ad. I look forward to the next ad she gets because she still needs that impact finisher. And speaking of me talking about impact finishers, after the match, Rina attacks. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Now I understand why Saida lost. Rina lays down the challenge to Azumi for a high-speed title match. And my first thought is they are bulking up this high-speed division with wrestlers that they need to do it with, right? If you have these young, we'll call them rookies, even though they've been, all these wrestlers have been around for a long time, but they're on the younger half. They were qualifying tournament wrestlers, pretty much.
Qualifying in future of Stardom division wrestlers.
Yes, you're giving them a shot to see what they can do against someone like Azumi who can, you said she won't necessarily like easily carry you, but she can in a lot of ways too, right? Like we saw it here. If she slows it down and she works with you, it works really well. And truth be told, I think Rina's better than Momo Kogo is at this current time.
Oh, absolutely.
So that means that match is going to be special. That match is going to be really good.
Rina has been
I like the challenge.
Incredibly underrated, I think, just because you don't see the opportunities necessarily for her to showcase. Right. But of the three sisters, she's actually my favorite. I think she's got a lot more character and personality than Hanan does. And I think the level of difference in ring to them isn't as significant enough to counterbalance that. The main thing will be like how much Oedo Tai interference influences this future high-speed championship match. But I think Rina's got the talent even with that to make it a fantastic match.
Yeah, it should be interesting because, when we watch Rina matches, she doesn't necessarily do a lot of high speed, but at the same time, who knows what she's holding back as well, right? Because she's not supposed to be. Most of her matches aren't high up on the card, like you said. So it's wait and see, but it's exciting. I think that could be a really fun match. Nice.
Her
match
interference was high speed. I didn't get a chance to breathe.
That's true. Azumi was on the mat, again on the mat within seconds. I was like, whoa! I turned my head for 2 seconds. What happened?
It was like the Will Ospreay trick when he comes into the ring when they've been outside. The other person slides in the ring and then bam, drop kick from the top.
Yes, it is like that. But we'll move on to the most newsworthy match of the show. Oh man, I don't have my notes. Damn it.
I'm sure you can remember what happened.
No, I know that, but like I had the eliminations and everything. Give me 1 second.
Oh.
I had the eliminations. I had everything written down, how they were eliminated. I got it.
Oh,
I got
look at you being prepared.
Hey, I prepare for Stardom shows. Nothing else. It's okay. So this was the everyone knows what happened by now if you're listening to this, but this was the Cosmic Angels versus Donna Del Mondo match. This was considered the third match between Tam Nakano and Natsupoi. Tongue in cheek on that one. As we all know by now, Natsupoi made the big decision at the end of the match.
Went into business for herself.
She went into business for herself. And I want to say, the moment it was down to 2 versus 1, I said, they're doing it again, aren't they? Because we saw it with Momo and Azumi versus Starlight Kid at the end of last year. I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way Tam eliminates Julia and then it's her versus Natsupoi. I was like, it was supposed to go the other way around because you have if it wasn't Julia and if it was Mai Sakurai, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But once it was Julia, I was like, you sly dogs, you're gonna do something, aren't you? And boy, oh boy, did they do it. Let's talk about the match before we get to the big finale. Before I let you go, the eliminations were as follows. Himeka and Mina Shirakawa went out at the same time. Tough for Trent, the big Himeka fan.
I have words for that one.
You have to accept that her and Mina are at the same level. Weren't they eliminated by? Oh, that's right, Mai Sakurai. Yeah, that's right. I think you made a comment.
I'm regretting my comments on Mai Sakurai.
I think it was you that made a comment. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's you that made a comment last time we were on here that Mai Sakurai eliminated Momo Watanabe. Sorry, we were talking about Momo Kogo 2 seconds ago. And not only did Mai Sakurai eliminate Himeka, she eliminated 2 people at once. So what does that say for Mai Sakurai?
Well, I'm going to say that it was
better than
Himeka who eliminated Mina Shirakawa, and Mai Sakurai was like a second or two late to properly help and just ruined everything for Donna Del Mondo.
Yeah,
it realistically should have been a 3-on-1 with Himeka and Natsupoi and Julia versus Tam, and then it wouldn't have mattered with a Natsupoi turn because Himeka would have won the match for Donna Del Mondo.
That's true.
That's Mai Sakurai being Mai Sakurai. Yeah, she tried to fool us. She tried to fool us with the hair change and the increased wrestling ability. But deep down, she's the same Mai Sakurai we always knew.
You just turned on her.
I was on her side. I was impressed. Not anymore.
Well, good news for you is the next elimination was Hikaru Shimizu kicking the head off Mai Sakurai to eliminate her.
You wouldn't have done that to Himeka.
No, because Himeka was already gone. So how could she? And then after that, Micah went beast mode. The things she does where she's just like, I'm just gonna hit everyone with the Michinoku Driver 2, which she hit Unagi, and then as soon as that she got up, she hit Shimizu with it. And I was just like, this. If Micah did this at all times, I would give her the belt immediately because, I know she can do that. They've given her this monster kind of badass quality that she doesn't always use, and I understand why because you don't want her to be this dominant. But man, she has such a cool moveset. She added that discus lariat, which is awesome. But when she does that, it's just damn, who's cooler than Micah right now? There was no one. She tried to do it to Saki right after. Saki managed to escape, kind of roll her up, get the pin there. And that's when Julia eliminated Saki. And that brings us to the main point of this match. By the way, the match up until this point, it was fun. It wasn't
it's a fun elimination match. It's
it wasn't the artist match from last
No.
but we got through all that. It was down to Natsupoi and Julia versus Tam Nakano. Easy. Natsupoi had the chance to win the series right there. And you get to the apron, we all have our apron spots in these elimination matches because those are the best spots. You have
the fact we hadn't got one of those yet, we should have known really it was coming.
Yeah. Julia's got Tam in a German suplex ready for Natsupoi to hit a super kick. Oh, Tam avoided it. She got down. Natsupoi saved herself. She didn't want to kick Julia's head off. Oh, yes, she did. She kicks Julia's head right off, and it's just like, oh my god. First of all, someone finally turned on Julia. That's like the way Shuri left is very different. This is someone finally being like, yeah, I'm gonna kick you. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be the one that takes you. She kicks her. She hits it with a German suplex on the apron.
Yeah, it was the Julia. German onto the apron.
Yeah. Julia falls off, and then Tam's like, yeah, see ya. Falls off herself. And just like that, Tam Nakano does, her usual, storytelling of just the look on her face is like, what just happened? What just happened? Tam's very good at showing those emotions. And really the topic point here for us to discuss isn't the match itself.
No.
It is, how do we feel about Natsupoi leaving Donna Del Mondo? My Hime Poi dead. Gone forever. Brutal.
No more shoulder rides. No more shoulder rides for Natsupoi.
You know what? Maybe here's a reason she kicked Julia's head off. Julia, Micah, and Hameka were just going to go for Artists of Stardom match at the next pay-per-view. Maybe Natsupoi said, oh, you're just going to do that? I'm not your pet. That was one of her comments. That's not it, by the way. She wanted to be with Tam. So how do we feel? Now, Cosmic Angels is Tam Nakano, Nagi Sayaka, Mina Shirakawa, Waka Tsukiyama for now, Saki, Yuko Sakurai, Hikari Shimizu, and Rina Amikura, and Natsupoi. How are we feeling about that? Because the world of Joshi fans did not know how to feel when it happened. They were like, oh no, because a lot of people are sad about DDM kind of separating more than anything else. And I agree, because they've been phenomenal. They've been dominant for 2 years, and now they look nothing like they were 6 months ago. So how are we feeling about Natsupoi joining Cosmic Angels, Trent?
Look, I am actually really on board with this concept, and it's for a couple of reasons. First of all, obviously, you listed off every Cosmic Angels member at the moment, and it's a long one.
Yeah,
but I don't know, I don't know how long Colors is going to be disinvolved with Stardom. Obviously, we've got Saki in the tournament, the 5-star Grand Prix, but after that, and after probably a couple of little things, I could see them just being an every now and again kind of, they rock up at a pay-per-view or two or a Kurikan and say, hey, remember us wearing Cosmic Angels? With that in mind, the team of Tam, Unagi, Mina, and Waka is lacking some top-end strength. Unagi's probably your second in command there, and she's not really at the level where you would say she's a viable challenger for the white belt, which I think you kind of need to be in that second in command level. Natsupoi is right now. Like, if they gave her a white belt run, I would totally buy it. On the other hand, Donna Del Mondo, yes, they lost Natsupoi, but that was their fourth best member, really. You can run Julia, Micah, or Himeka as viable white belt, red belt challengers, and it works. So for me, this evens up the factions in a way that was necessary. And now really only God's Eye, the team that I look at and go, you could do with another member or two to just kind of bolster the ranks as they need to be. So I think this was a really smart move. I'm gutted that My Himapoi is no longer a thing. I really love that team. But Donna Del Mondo can survive this. And this kind of difficulty, I think, will only enhance their faction growing forward, because they did spend a long time as the darlings of Stardom, always kind of on top. They need these kind of faults, these small areas where they have to recover from to give them a grander story, I think.
Yeah, very important to say, let history know that DDM cared a lot more about Natsupoi leaving than they did Shuri. Let it be known on that respect. They did not care when Shuri leave. They were crying when Natsupoi said, see ya. Remember that part. Second, my Sakurai for Natsupoi could be the worst trade in the history of sports. Three.
The Sacramento Kings level trade.
To me, this sets up Natsupoi to be the next leader of Cosmic Angels. And I think that's very important because I think a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, I know I have been very vocal about I think Natsupoi deserves a bigger piece of the pie, essentially, right? She deserves a bigger spot. And she went to the Cinderella Final Four. She had an amazing Wonder of Stardom title match with Sayakamitani earlier this year. She had a great cage match with Tam. She's done everything to move herself from here to here just this year alone. And she's very popular. I think that goes without saying. And listen, I don't know when Tam Nakano is retiring, but it's sooner rather than later. We are closer to the end than the beginning. There's a lot of directions to go now in the time that she's here to, one, make Natsupoi really feel like a part of that group, but kind of take over the reins in time. And this also makes Julia's tournament very interesting now because now she's facing Natsupoi in a match that's going to be vicious. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be great. I think the best part about this is Natsupoi is likely getting her own group in the end. She's going to be a leader. And I think that more than anything, because for a while there, I thought Unagi was going to be it, but they've kind of pumped the brakes on her big time. Not to the point where she's not protected or anything, but she's not necessarily a leader. She can be the number 2 again when Natsupoi takes over easily. But I think she's more of the... I gotta think here. What groups do we have going around? She's more in that number 2 range. I was gonna name someone, but I'm not gonna name anyone right now. She's more that number 2 range. She's never... she probably shouldn't be a leader down the road. I think she
works best as the antagonistic second in command. Anyways, like her sort of screwing up Kairi to Cosmic Angels and then Tam sort of slapping her, that kind of stuff you can't really have with her as the leader without eventually just going into full-on civil war.
Right.
So having that kind of reactionary stuff is just a lot of fun. It adds to Unagi's character, adds to the Cosmic Angels as a whole. And I think it also means there's not as much pressure on her to be a certain way. She can be off the walls because she's not in control of an entire group, where it wouldn't work as well.
Yeah, I also think this gives Natsupoi her best chance to win a title.
Yeah.
One of those top 2 titles, more so the Wonder than the Red. But I think that's a very important as well. It as much as I love Natsupoi and DDM, for her career, it opens up so many different avenues. Now she can be their signature idol wrestler when Tam's gone. And that's a really important spot to be because Stardom has had idol wrestlers forever. Right?
And they've been successful forever.
Exactly. So it's very important for them to have one really great one, and Natsupoi fits that very well. I'm waiting to see what their dynamic's going to be, obviously. I think Tam and Natsupoi instantly become favorites to win a tag title.
I could see next year them being goddess champions very easily.
Yeah.
That almost feels like it needs to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. I could even see that being a year-end match, potentially. That easy place to do it. I would love if they did FWC versus those two. I don't know if FWC will have the titles by then because that title moves like it's nobody's business, but
tag division's too hard to predict.
Yeah, exactly. But they could enter the tag league and win tag league.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, definitely. Tam's done it before.
Exactly. Which would be really cool. So lots of directions to go here. Really exciting. Even if I'm upset she's gone from DDM, I like it more because Natsupoi benefits from it. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I did see some people have problems like, oh, well, why did you wrestle her so difficult? People, this is like a real life situation. I don't know if people know this. People change their minds. People like, you can battle with certain decisions and you can come out of the other side like, okay, this is what I have to do for myself. That's what happened. That was what
I actually think it makes a lot of sense with the story that they were telling. Obviously, like, it looks awkward when they've just been beating each other up for a couple of weeks, but it was never like a grudge match in the sense that they hate each other. It was always kind of that respect,
and you
but it's not quite there. And over the course of these we'll say 2.5, because a big 6 versus 6 tag match is hard to get the deep, intimate story there. But over 2.5 matches over that short period, to me, it's easy to see how that would change, especially when you look at the promos they were cutting after the match, the cage match, and then Croken Hall. It wasn't hated grudge. It was almost begrudging respect turned into genuine, I see now why we are connected the way we are. The two things I'm curious about with Natsupoi moving forward, so the one thing is if she's still going to be doing her theater stuff, because that does pull away from Stardom a little bit. They might still be hesitant to pull the trigger on her as a white belt champion if she's going to be away for extended periods because of that. But at the same time, they could use that as a selling point of, hey, check out the champion in this other theater. That and the betrayal reminded me a lot of Io versus Mayu. That sort of delayed, went for the move, stopped, but went through anyways. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's the Io slap on Mayu Iwatani.
Yeah. Yeah, now you could give Julia her 19th rival. I thought this is really important to point out. So I'm not going to screen share or anything, but Tekla tweeted something out really, really good. She tweeted out, I'm sure you have your reasons. I hope you'll find what you're looking for. Bye, Poi. And that speaks to what we were talking about. Like, this wasn't a rivalry. This was Natsupoi just getting to the level of Tam Nakano through their matches. And now we'll see how she progresses as a member of the Angels. She's going to know the dance sooner than Waka does. It's going to be great. I'm sure she already knows it, truthfully. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I think a lot of others should. So let's get to the final 2 matches now, since the first like 5 took up 20 minutes, and then that entire thing took up 20 minutes. So, on brand. Wonder of Stardom Championship match. Sayakamitani defending against Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid came into this match confident, and she left it nothing but sad and confused. Great post-match presser if you can go out of your way to see it. Even if you don't fully understand it, you don't really need to, but there are quotes out there by now, so you can understand it. But her emotion, it reminds you that, oh yeah, Starlight Kid's like a really good babyface too. I forgot. And that was it was a babyface promo in a lot of ways, because she's like, I don't know what I have to do to beat her. And because now she's failed again for the Wonder of Stardom title. That's her final promise. Because in the end, all the story is to get to that level of Mayu Iwatani. That title was it. And she failed despite a great game plan.
Oh, yeah.
Of attacking the leg. They went a completely different direction than I think anyone expected. And I thought it was fantastic. Not that I'm shocked, because Sayakamitani's been doing this all year. I'm not really shocked, but they went a different direction. It completely, they could have done high octane moves from beginning to end, and that would have been fantastic. Maybe it would have been better. I think a lot of people would have preferred that. But the way they worked this in, she's destroying that leg to get to numero dos. By the way, I can't explain how much I love that Azumi's doing numero uno and she's doing numero dos. It's just too perfect. It's too perfect. But her destroying that leg and working it just for Sayakamitani to just have enough to survive in the end. Oh, it was fantastic. Just a fantastic match.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. It's on par with the Sayakamitani white belt run that we've been seeing. It's not my favorite of her defenses, but it's in that top tier. I would put it at that level. Yeah, the leg work was really good. I love that. I was here on the episode before complaining that Mina's leg work was good, but there wasn't enough variety to it. Starlight Kid was bringing a lot of different things to it, and it kind of showed that difference in level. Yeah, as Mina's gotten good, but Starlight Kid is great, and we saw that in how she was attacking the leg. Anyone who does a good dragon screw is instantly going to be a favorite of mine, and Sayakamitani sold that well. Obviously, like, the one issue you can have with these kind of matches is you need to sell the leg, it's sore, but you still need to hit the moves that pop the crowd. You know, if you didn't get her doing her high impact moves, her fancy stuff, you would leave going, well, it wasn't a full Kamitani experience. I think they found a good balance between, oh, my knee is sore and I can still do all the cool stuff. It kind of felt like that was the reason why Starlight Kid couldn't get the win. She didn't do just enough damage to incapacitate Kamitani like that. But yeah, it was a really good match, even though it was I'm working on the leg kind of match, which can be slow. They kept a nice pace to it, so it never felt like it dragged. And then when they hit into those final periods, probably from about the numero dos submission attempt that almost, like, I didn't necessarily buy it, but they did a good job of making me start to question whether it could get it. Complete with Daichi kind of moving Kid's leg to make it look like the submission was locked in a bit better than it actually was. From that point, I think it hit that final gear and they found the rhythm they were looking for to bring it home to, easily one of the best matches, for me, match of the night, but in that top tier of Kamitani white belt defenses for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't my match tonight. It was never going to be, unfortunately. But we say like you had to do those high octane moves, but like the way this injury worked is like when she did the what does she call it? The internal foe, which is the Spanish fly from the top rope, and Sayakamitani technically rolls out of it, but she doesn't land straight on her feet, and that selling of the leg gives you an easy out there of like, oh, she probably messed up.
Yeah.
But it's okay because she doesn't have her leg to stand on. That was a little weird, but
it could have been executed better.
Oh,
it's a risk when you're doing that high risk stuff. She didn't quite Osprey, but she made a good effort of it.
I have never seen someone land on a Spanish fly like that where you guys are attached until the very end. So I'm not gonna get mad at anyone. It's another Sayakamitani great. It's up there with the one against Natsupoi. I think the Tam Nakano one still wins out. The second one. I'm talking about this year. I'm not talking about the first one.
And
I think it still wins out. Yeah, in defenses. I think that one still leads the pack, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. It's another great effort by Saya. You know, if anyone came up to me and said Sayakamitani is my wrestler of the year, she's probably mine currently, truthfully. Like, she's been that amazing. And some people, believe it or not, still don't get her. And someone asked me, like, explain to me why. I was like, I literally do podcasts every week. If you can't figure out why I like her, then maybe you should listen to them more. I don't know. Like, I talk about her every week and her greatness, and she showed it again here. Starlight Kid lived up to the challenge yet again. She's gonna get that belt sooner rather than later. And it is funny to talk about, like how we were talking about Natsupoi is now a white belt contender. Azuki's gonna get that belt someday. Starlight Kid needs to get that belt. Azumi needs to get that belt. You have the two DDM girls in Micah and Hameka who deserve title reigns as well. You know, one of them will probably just be world, but I think they could both be at least in that conversation. Yeah, right. I know. But, like, I think there's just so many options right now. It's crazy. It's a great place to be.
Yeah.
But
having too many top belt championship contenders.
Right. We got Mirai, who's obviously going to get it soon. Not soon, but like eventually.
Yeah, she's already in that level where if she won it, you wouldn't be completely shocked. You'd be like, they're going that way.
And there's going to be more wrestlers that come into this company, so you just never really know. But that's really the excitement with this brand. Fantastic match. Go out of your way to see it. I can understand why some people may have not liked it, because maybe the methodical pacing isn't your preference, but I thought it was fantastic. It was just a nudge below, like, match of the year contender, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't at that level, but when you're just a notch below that, like, we can't be complaining about, it wasn't a match of the year.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
It just shows the level that these women are performing at, that it's not, because a few years ago, this would have been a match of the year contender for women easily. But now it's like, okay, it's maybe 5th or 10th on the list of the year.
Yeah, good try.
And we're halfway through, about to go into a 5-star tournament.
Yeah. So let's get into it. The main event, we had Shuri.
You don't want to talk about the challenge?
Oh, crap. That's right. I knew there was other stuff. The Natsupoi stuff still in my head. Like, that's why I brought her up after that match. So, yeah, we had a lot that happened after this match as well. So Saki comes out, makes the challenge. Very surprising challenge. I think we can all agree. Mostly because we're waiting for Kairi to just do it already. But nonetheless, Saki comes out. She lays down the challenge, which is cool. Awesome. Very exciting. I like Saki. She's looked good in her Stardom matches. She's the leader of colors. Cool one-off title match, I think, for Saya. Not only to build the ranking, but this is a real test. Let's see 2 wrestlers who don't wrestle a lot. If Sayakamitani could deliver another great, let's just wrap up the rest of your conversation. Toss it out.
This is a classic. Let's get us to the tournament without any wasting a big title match week. Because I don't think anyone's expecting Saki to win this match. But you're not. When Starlight Kid came in, it was like, Starlight Kid could win that. But if you don't want that change happening, you're not wasting a viable match like that.
Right.
It's not Kairi. I'm disappointed, but I think I got my hopes up a little too much that they're going to run that one this month. The reality is they're
looking
holding
like
on
Dolphins
to that.
Arena. It's looking like the Dolphins Arena show. But speaking of Kairi, we got the reveal. I was right, so that's what most important, but I was right. Just wanted to point that out there. The tag team partner for Kairi isn't Toni Storm. It's not Toni Storm. I don't want to hear it, though she probably will be in Stardom within like the next year. I'm going to admit that. It was Nanae Takahashi, the first ever World of Stardom? Yeah, it is. I don't know why I just like blank. First ever World of Stardom champion. I always have those like blanks when I'm talking, mostly because it's 12:48 a.m. Leave me alone.
And you're too busy focused on talking about how you were right.
Yes, of course. Nanae Takahashi walks out, and I'm just like, whoa, what is happening? Because, when Nanae shows up, you get a little worried in some ways. You're like, oh, God, if she has a title match, oh, Jesus, she might win. Like, all the fear starts to come into your body a little bit. But no, she's just Kairi's partner, which is really cool. We're going to get to see Kairi and Nanae team up on a show, not on any show, the opening night of the 5-star Grand Prix, because they said, sure, why not? Let's have some more. Thanks. Appreciate it, Rossi. So that's going to happen. Now, I will talk about the part that does upset a lot of people. No, Tommy Hayashishita did not say, I will team with you, Saya. It's Lady C. It will be Lady C and Sayakamitani against Nanae and Kairi. And they haven't said if Kairi and Nanae win, which they will. She gets the title match. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to have this match, and then Kairi's going to have the title match.
Yeah. They didn't need the win to get there, but by bringing Lady C in, it's just like, okay, well, there's the win. Like,
it's fine.
I'm disappointed because I did think it was going to be Utami and Saya versus Kairi versus whoever. Like, at that point, I don't really care who the other person is.
We don't give away big matches.
Yeah, especially because I have been building, there is the talk of Utami and Kairi facing off. They basically
what happened to that?
What happened to them actually finishing the not Donna Del Mondo, Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest?
You know what? You know what happened? You know what had to happen? Tommy said, not yet. I'm not ready to do stuff yet. Let's just chill out. Do you remember what I did last year?
I'm still on my summer vacation.
Yeah. Do you remember what I did last year for you people? I'm just going to chill for a little longer. But it is exciting. Kairi's back. We have a Kairi. Anytime we get a Kairi date, it's exciting. And it just happens to be with Nanae, so that's even cooler. But we got a double Kairi day, by the way. Let's add this in. This match is actually much better, truthfully, in my opinion. Just an overall match. I actually can't wait for it. It'll be Kairi teaming with Natsupoi. to face Saida and Mayu Iwatani. We're gonna see Kairi.
Who's taking the pin on that one?
Jungle Junior. Oh boy, yeah.
It's so great to see Natsupoi and Kairi teaming together, given the history that's there. And I think even more exciting is seeing Kairi and Mayu facing opposite again. Like, unfortunately, Ida's there to take the pin. That's what she's been getting her practice in over the past month. But the thing is, it's still a good spot. Like, you're going to be the designated pin eater, but for especially someone like Lady C, this is the kind of opportunity to kind of start to prove yourself. Kind of like when she was at the MetLife Center. I really questioned her decision to be on the New Japan show, but she did a good job there. So this is another chance for her to kind of go, yeah, okay, look, I'm not at the level that people were hoping to be at here. You know, I'm not a Nutami Shishida, but I deserve to be doing what I'm doing. So that's cool.
I think it's important to add that the Saida anger doesn't really matter yet, but if she goes 0-12 in the 5-star, I'll allow it. I will allow the anger.
Basically, shut up until October.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna lose to Kairi. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. It's not a curse. It's a blessing to her. She gets to lose to Kairi. She gets to be on the same level as Miyu Amasaki. Congratulations. Anyways, main event time. We had Shuri defeating Momo Watanabe to the breaking of my own heart to successfully defend the World of Stardom Championship in a very physical, all-out bombs throwing match, essentially. I'm going to be fair. I thought it was phenomenal. Of course I did. Love the match. I had both of the semi and main on the same level in a sense. Like, I didn't have, especially after, like, I thought back about this one, I was like, damn, that wrench shot should have been more important. The wrench punt. And the crowd, I want to say the crowd stunk for the last two matches. Like, it wasn't good. And it doesn't help we came off Summer Sun Princess where there was actually cheering either.
I mean, it was bad anyways, but that was a really, like, they were back-to-back. You were seeing so much more from Summer Sun Princess. Wasn't all their fault. Obviously, they can't cheer, but we've gotten some really good clap crowds from Stardom.
Yeah,
and this wasn't one of them.
And sometimes they still go like, oh, like when stuff happens or like when there's near falls. There just wasn't enough of that. But the match was really good. You know, you have Momo hit the triple Peach Sunrise, and that's just like, you know, I'm creeping up in my seat. I'm like, oh, here we go. She hits that punt with the wrench, and it's like it didn't get enough time to digest either. Like, they hit it, they kind of just moved on. I think somewhere in the future it's better, but I also think Momo probably grows from this now, because now she probably will use the wrench less because she still hasn't achieved her goal, and she's gonna figure out a way to get there. But as someone that went into this match with very high hopes, very high expectations, I walked out of it with a very wonderful, dramatic, heart-pounding match. They did their job. One of my favorites from Shuri's reign, because I think, you know, the topic about Shuri's reign has been back and forth, but when you're just throwing bombs of kicks at one another for like the first half, and then the second half involves you doing a table pile driver, you get all the respect in my book, you psychos. And then, Shuri's, this was also like Shuri hit a punt in this match too, and that looked 10 times more brutal than the wrench one, because the selling was
she
great.
Didn't have a wrench in a foot.
Well, yeah, Mom was like, okay, I've hurt 2 people with this. I got to be careful. So she's like,
if I take out the champ, Rossi's booking me to go 0-12.
Yeah. So we'll pump the brakes a little bit. But great punt, and then she wins with the stretch muffler. And I have a bone to pick with Shuri. You did the stretch muffler to Momo, and you did it to Mayu. Are you coming for me or what? I don't like it. So, and then by the way, Dragon Moon, the Twitter account, pointed out how Momo was in serious pain afterwards. And it's because the wrench was in her leg. People forgot that, and I was like, oh, that's a good touch. That's a good touch that I didn't think about until after the fact. But it's a good touch of like why her leg hurt even more. But really good match. Not really shocking from these two. Not up to their classic from last year, obviously. I didn't expect it to get there, but just really good stuff. Great main event. Yeah, that's pretty much what you expect from these two.
I really enjoyed it up until the last 5 or so minutes. Basically, from the punt. I was really disappointed with how they structured. What was that, sorry?
The wrench punt?
Yeah. The wrench punt from Momo. It was really, I felt those final 5 to 7 minutes was just really odd booking decision after really odd booking decision. Because we talked about it on the last show. If Momo hits the wrench punt and Shuri kicks out, well, she can't be beaten. The fact that they used that as the lead into the third act of the match was a really weird, odd choice because it slowed the match right down for her to set it up and then to hit it. And then when Shuri kicked out of it, to me, it was very hard to buy Shuri losing to even the triple peach sunrises. A little part of me when it happened was like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to end it this way because we haven't seen her bust out the triples. But we know she mostly finishes with the peach bomb now. So it's like, okay, you're still not fully buying it. And the stretch muffler, like, obviously I didn't make the connection Dragon Moon did until I saw that tweet. And admittedly, when I read that, I'm like, oh, that's actually really good storytelling. That's the kind of storytelling that I would normally pop for. I didn't recognize it, but my biggest issue with it wasn't so much that she won with the submission, but it's the fact that the entire match was built around, I'm going to knock you the F out. You know, high impact kicks, big sort of slam moves, and then she just wins with a submission. It felt at odds with the story that they were telling with the rest of the match. I think if Shuri had won with her one-winged angel versus the Ryun, it would have been a lot better thematically than her just locking in the stretch muffler after going for it once before, not really working on the foot prior to that either. Yes, the wrench would make it hurt more, but I just felt that storytelling didn't work, and it was basically just Momo hitting nearly all of her big moves. Then Shuri countered the peach bomb attempt. Then Shuri hit all of her big moves to eventually win. There wasn't a lot of back and forth. There wasn't a lot of dramatic storytelling, and they played their aces to start the third act rather than to sort of bring it to a near conclusion. So, love the first 3/4 of this match. I was going towards match of the night, top level Shuri defense. By the end of it, it's probably on the second tier for me, just because, unfortunately, a poor ending can ruin a great match, just like a really good ending can lift up a mediocre match. And for me, it let it down enough that I was not as impressed with it. Still, probably a 4-star match, but not as impressed with it I was hoping to be, and what I think a lot of other people were.
Well, it's okay to be wrong. That's why I have you on here, so I can be right all the time. It's fine. No, I get what you're saying. I think I go back to that wrench spot, and I do wish that it was used differently. I do wish the crowd just reacted more. It shouldn't have been like a kind of a dud moment, because it's a very important moment to the match. But I think what they were able to do for the majority of the match of just hitting each other with everything, it's fine to me. The stretch muffler doesn't matter to me, because the beauty of what Shuri has been for the longest time is that she can win with everything. She always has. And that's why it doesn't really affect me anytime she wins with something different, because I'm just used to it by now. It. She's done it for a couple of years now. So I get where you're coming from. I still absolutely adore the match, and I think watching it live and having the investment that I did personally, it definitely be so. Like, I can admit that I had bias in liking this match more. It's fine. I don't care.
How dare you carry bias into your wrestling analysis?
Carry fandom, as I like to say. I know. How dare you be?
Not everyone can be me, who's just unbiased in all of
their analysis. I'm sure those Jungle Kiona matches didn't reach a certain level for you, even if they weren't bad, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure they are extra high for you because of that emotion that you felt watching them. But that
emotion being eternal heartbreak.
Yes. Well, I just got to experience this. Thank you. As I watched her tap out.
Momo fans don't understand what it's like to be a jungle fan. Like, let's
no,
put this out there. You got a year
true.
as the white belt champion.
Well,
like,
listen, don't
compare the fans.
I always defend Momo when people are like, "Oh yeah, Momo's like the Goto and the Keanu." I'm like, no, she's not. She's not. No, she had a dominant Wonder of Stardom title reign, the most historic in history. I will not hear that she's in that. She's 22 years old.
Goto has the accolades. He did win the white belt in New Japan. I forget that it was called the Intercontinental.
The white belt is higher than those belts. I don't want to hear it. Those belts don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, but the Intercontinental title was a big deal, and he did win it. He won the G1. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, he won that as well. Like, Momo can be the Goto. That's fair. But Jungle Keanu is the Ishii. He didn't even get he could still get it, but let's be honest, he won. He didn't even get one of those titles.
She's not getting it either. No. Like, that's just the reality we have.
But the fandoms are not equal.
Either way, I point out my point that it's not that bad, people. Like, Momo's gonna win the title eventually. She's 22 years old. There's time. There's time. This isn't a situation of Goto and Ishii where they're just like their time's up. Jungle Keanu, she no longer wrestles in Stardom, so that alone, unfortunately, makes her time up. Momo's got plenty of life. I firmly believe she'll get it. But this was a big match in her growth. Another Shuri defense. Now we move on to the next one. We got it. Everyone that was wondering, we got it. Shuri was challenged by Tam Nakano after the match. The worst kept secret in wrestling. I mean, this was a guarantee. The moment Momo tapped, it was a guarantee. And that's kind of where we're going to transition. But before that, let me ask you, where do you have this show in terms of Stardom pay? I'll ask you three ranks, either top tier, so like the Flashing Champions show. I know it's not top tier, but I'm just giving you names. Middle tier, which is like middle tier is probably, I have no idea. They've had so many freaking pay-per-views, man. Like, they don't have many low tiers, so I'm not going to give you one at all for that. But like,
low tier pay-per-view was like the first round of the Cinderella tournament. Technically, it was a pay-per-view, but
even the second one, the final, like, I didn't even put that in that. And low tier for Stardom is higher than like almost every promotion, to be fair. So like,
low tier, I'm still not disappointed I spent my money. It's just that it wasn't a transformative experience.
Right. So where do you throw this one? Had moments.
The lower end of mid-tier. Like, the quality of Saya Kid, Momo, Azumi, and as much as the complaints I did Momo Shuri was still a fantastic match. Yeah. Momo, Kogo, Azumi. And look, obviously I had my misgivings about the main event, but it was still a really good match. Plus the Natsupoi turn does keep it in mid-tier for me. But the other matches, and let's be honest, the elimination tag match, outside of its big shocking finish, it was still, there wasn't much there. And that it felt that more so than a lot of the other Stardom shows where these kind of throw together matches can still be a lot of fun. This felt more like, okay, they're just getting them on the card. I don't know whether it's because I was coming straight from Summer Sun Princess and coming from like the business end of Summer Sun Princess. I was going from there into these sort of just throw together matches. But yeah, lower end of mid-tier for me.
I think that's agreeable. But as I hinted, Tam Nakano did challenge Shuri. That will be happening on the MidSummer Champions 2022 in Nagoya. I give the huff and puff because that is so much. There's a few directions for us to go here. Obviously, we have Starterman Showcase, which got some more matches announced.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's just give Trent his moment to shine real quick. As reported by Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful Select, and as confirmed by a multitude of promotions as of the day of this recording, Jungle Keona is back. She is back to wrestle. She is coming to the United States. She will be working, at least so far as of this recording, for Garden State Pro. West Coast Pro, and Deadlock Pro. So as me and Trent had discussed over the past, once this was announced, we figured Deadlock Pro was a lock, and it was really everyone else from there. So, Trent, since I know you say Mai's your favorite all time, but like Jungle Kyona has a special place in your heart.
Yeah.
How are you feeling that? I understand she's not going to Australia, she's not back in Stardom, but she's back wrestling, and you get to watch her wrestle.
Even if I couldn't watch her wrestle, I'm just glad she's back wrestling. And I'm also really excited for her to get to perform in front of people she hasn't really gotten to perform in front of. Yes, she was on the show when they went to New York, but this is a little bit of a different situation. I think also now the fans who know her appreciate what she's done a bit more because we didn't have it for so long. Kind of that, like, a lot of people probably, and myself included, kind of believe this might be it for her. And now not only is she back wrestling, but she's back doing shows in front of a lot of these fans. So I'm really excited because I know she's going to get showered with love and appreciation and that kind of – I love seeing these Japanese wrestlers, not just Joshi, the Japanese wrestlers when they come over to America the first time and realize just how popular, just how beloved they are. Yes, she's not coming to Australia, so I won't get to see her in person. But I'm just really excited for all the members of the Jungle Kyona Prayer Circle in America who will get to see her live. And hopefully all the new fans she'll make when people are, oh, okay, I've heard, seeing all these crazy people going nuts for her, there must be something there. More and more of these Joshi wrestlers are winning over tons of fans because of that when they come to America. So I'm very excited. I don't know who she's going to be facing. I don't care who she's facing. I'm just more than anything glad for her.
All right, I gave you your moment. We're moving on.
And if you're going to a Jungle Kyona show, you better cheer your lungs out. I'm not just pointing at you, Scott. I'm pointing to everyone who's watching this show. If you're listening to the podcast, picture me, handsome face and all, pointing at you aggressively. You better cheer your lungs out on my behalf. Now start a chant. Trent loves you. Trent loves you. Trent loves you.
I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna show her like the pictures of all her losses. Like, hey, look at this one. You remember this one? Hey, Trent wanted me to show you these. Hey,
where's the leave podcast button?
Oh, it's nowhere because we have to finish the show. But no, it's really cool that Jungle's back. Especially because we didn't really know if she would come back in any form. Right, like the Kyoko match at the Hanakamura show, that was a very special match in a lot of ways, but that could have easily been her last match. We knew she wasn't 100% healthy going into that one, but the fact that she's back, she's wrestling, it means that there's a chance here. I know, she had that full-time job she's really focused on. I don't know where that is now. I don't know how that's going. I'm guessing.
So according to what she was saying on the fan club that she's got, about a week or two before this was announced, she said that she was really nervous about something she had to talk to her boss about and about an oncoming MRI. Now, at the time, it was hard, especially going from Japanese to English translation online, which is notoriously sketchy at best. It was hard to sort of work out what that meant. I think looking at this, it was pretty much her having to ask for time off to be able to do this tour. I think she was very worried if she got the all clear from the MRI, whether the boss would sort of let her, because look, Japanese work culture is notoriously intensive, and you don't necessarily get big casual breaks like you might get elsewhere. But it seems like they were quite supportive, so it looks like she's got the all clear to go and do however long this tour is going to be. Which, if she stays over there for all these matches, it's going to be a couple of months. Like, this isn't just a hop over and come back kind of thing. She could be there for quite a while, which would explain the nervousness, because she's not just saying, hey, can I have the weekend off? It's like, hey, can I take nearly a quarter of the year off potentially?
Yeah, she's got multiple matches and multiple months already set. I do wonder, this is just speculative, obviously. I do wonder if there's any involvement with AEW, because there easily could be. There easily couldn't be. But I wouldn't be shocked if she showed up for a match or two.
Get her on Dark. Like, it's an easy...
Right. It's not like they're signing her to
I would
contract.
watch Dark for the first time. If they get Jungle Kyona, they've got my view.
Trent's not even asking for a Dynamite, a Rampage. He says, just get her on Dark for me. That's all I want.
Well, partially because it's easy for me to watch Dark. because I don't have to subscribe to Fight TV. But look, I'm also being realistic. Like, as much as I love Jungle Kyona, she's not necessarily someone you're going to roll out on Dynamite when you've got Miyu Yamashita making her first appearance on AEW Dark. Yeah,
that's true.
I'm being realistic.
No, you make a good point. But let's finish this show really quickly. Well, not really quickly, but we're going to talk a little bit about.
You can say really quickly. It's not.
We're going to talk about the 2 upcoming shows that by the time the next episode airs, they will have happened. I don't know who I'm going to talk to for them yet. Maybe it's Trent. Maybe it's not. We'll see when that happens. Maybe wants nothing to do with me by then, but trust me.
Depends how much
after
Jungle.
After the amount that me and him have talked about Jungle, and he's still here. So let's just say
I'm dedicated to giving the people what they want.
Yeah, which is making me right. I appreciate that. And we want to give credit to Jungle. We're all very happy that she's back. It's very, very cool. A lot of people are going to have really cool moments as fans, just seeing her do her thing. She doesn't have to have match of the year contenders just to be like, oh my God, Jungle's back. So that's really the best part about it all. And it sounds like she's excited for it, which makes it that much better. But we move on. Starterman Showcase Volume 1 is on the Saturday, July 23rd, because of course it is. I believe that's the same day for people that are wondering. I think Ring of Honor is running that day.
Oh, wow.
There's a G1 show that day. So big wrestling day. But we got the first ever Stardom and Showcase. Not a single person knows what to expect going into the show. But we got 2 more matches added, and they might be the matches I'm now most excited for, truth be told. One of them. But let's talk about an I Quit match. It'll be Shuri and Mirai versus Ikane, Fujita, and Kurumi Hiragi, who returns from a torn ACL to walk into an I Quit match against Shuri. I just want to say it.
You just want a match with a stretch muffler.
Yeah, I just want to say it again. She's going into an I Quit match against Shuri in her first match after a torn ACL. All right, you heard me. This happened after she choked out Shuri post New Blood or back.
Shuri's got to stop going to New Blood.
Well, Shuri has to tell them that she's not part of DDM. That's what she's got to do. She's got to be like, listen, this ended a while ago. You don't have to keep attacking me. It's
3 New Blood shows taken out twice by Prominence.
Yeah. I mean, Prominence runs New Blood. Let's just admit it. They don't get the main events, but they run New Blood. But Shuri, Mirai, Kane Fujita, and Kurumi Hiragi. Not really a question as to who will win. We know who's going to win, but an interesting match. I don't know what to feel. And I'm going to say that for all 4. I'm going to say these for 3 of the 4. One, I know what I'm going to no. One, I kind of know what I'm going to expect, and it's violence upon violence. This one,
clearly, you're talking about the casket match.
Of course. Come on, there's a Grim Reaper in it. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a match that's happening.
Yeah, this one was confusing in a way. Like, if you'd asked me to predict Stardom in Showcase at New Blood, even, I still probably wouldn't have called this particular.
I was gonna say like Maria from Marvelous might be a part of it. You know, I was gonna go like all these other wrestlers for other companies. No. Stardom and Showcase is sports entertainment. It is plunder matches. It is insanity, but I'm okay with it because one, it's oddly enough, a wrestling promotion has a show that's non-canon, which is very interesting. But it's gonna be fun. It's something different. I welcome different. They're not doing these shows once a week, once a month. So to me, it's cool.
And the amount of people who have been complaining about, Stardom, used to be a fun promotion where fun things would happen.
You're gonna get fun.
And now I see people complaining about, why is Stardom? And obviously they're not the same people. Probably, I know that, but like, it's just funny seeing the dichotomy from Stardom's no fun anymore. Where's this and where's that? Even though you got Micah dressing up in a bear costume and all this other wacky stuff.
You're getting a damn playground.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like, okay, it's going to be ridiculous, but yeah, they're not doing it all the time, and this gives us that fun stuff. Like, if they bring back the costume change battle royal at some point, it almost feels guaranteed to be on this kind of show. Yeah, this is where you're going to get it. And if that gives us a chance for that kind of thing again, then please keep running these shows.
Oh, they're going to keep running these shows if you like it or not. Don't worry about that part. We got the Falls Count Anywhere 4-way match. I have no idea how this is going to work. We got Tam Nakano versus Koguma versus Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. You look at the lineup and you instantly think, holy crap, that's going to be great. But listen, Falls Count Anywhere, I'm already respecting the bear to run across the entire arena and Azumi to follow behind. And you know, if Momo just sits in the ring with her wrench, I wouldn't be shocked either and just be like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I have no idea. I
just hope they have multiple cameramen ready because, like, I presume, Koguma and Azumi are going to find the nearest exit and probably find themselves fighting in a Yoshinoya at some point. But the cameramen need to be ready for that because it was hilarious watching the press conference for the MidSummer 2022 in Nagoya show where Azumi and Rina fought themselves off screen and there was just about 10 seconds of awkward. We don't have a camera that can actually follow them, so we're just going to have it on the stage where you see nothing. And Rossi's just sitting there doing the thing he does, where it's just like.
What's also really funny is they didn't even give this show a press conference. Like, this is just
not yet. Like, they might still. There's enough time to still run one once they announce more matches.
It's just odd because usually you do them at the same time. It's an odd one, but
maybe the Grim Reaper was double booked and couldn't make it.
Potentially, you never know. We don't know who the Grim Reaper is. Could be Rossi. Could be a real switch. Could be Rossi. Maybe he's choking himself out in the skits.
We don't know what he's into.
No, we don't. No, we do not. And I don't want to. Hardcore match. This is the match I'm most looking forward to. We got Julia and Mai Sakurai versus the team of Suzu Suzuki and Risa Serra. We say our prayers.
So who's replacing Mai Sakurai in the 5-star?
Because she's not 5-star in DDM, in a lot of things, because you know she's a bold one to step up into this because. I don't know if people understand, like, Suzu Suzuki and Risa Serra aren't just going to, like, take it easy on her. Like, that's not what they do. If you watch their matches, they don't just, like, scale it back. They're absolutely not going to do that. So we're just going to hope she makes it through with one piece. And, you know, Trent might know after that Hameka elimination. He's like, no, get out of here.
Hang her from the ceilings by her feet for a while.
Whoa.
Replicate the Ring of Honor Project 161 where just bathed in blood dripping from the ceiling. Give me that. God. Then she will have paid her penance for eliminating Himeka.
Obviously, I'm just here for Julia and Suzu. Anything else is a plus.
I didn't expect this before the 5-star.
No.
This feels like a post 5-star match.
I thought it was going to be the Dolphins Arena. Or I thought it would be mid Dolphins Arena because it'd be the hype for that final match. But hey, I'm not complaining at all. We're gonna get it. And then the main event is the mysterious Shinigami, according to the website. I'm not making this up, but the Grim Reaper versus Sayakamitani versus Starlight Kid. So we're gonna get in a coffin match. Sorry, forgot the important part. So that's happening, and I don't know how to explain it other than I don't know how to explain it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no words.
We don't even know whether it's like elimination coffin rules, whether you just have to put one person in a coffin and you win because you put someone in, or if you have to put both people in, they have to be different coffins. Is it going to be a double-sized coffin? I don't know. And I'm excited by not knowing.
I'm staring at it. And
it's like the sun. Don't stare at it too long.
Well, it's like, okay, Sayakamitani is the Wonder of Stardom champion. Starlight Kid is going into the 5-star, not as a favorite, but she's going to rank pretty high. And then we just have some person that's dressed in a Halloween costume, calling themselves like I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I guess that's the fun of it. It's going to be the biggest reveal of the year. I'm pretty sure Kairi revealed herself this year. So I don't really know. It's going to be a reveal.
It could be Kairi underneath there. She kind of had the deaf characters in her entrance. So,
when we got to the show, I was hoping to give like a really good prediction of who it would be. I don't have a clue.
Before they like Kid, part of me thought, even though the body types didn't suit, I thought it could have been Natsuko Tora's way to come back.
Yeah, that would have been fair.
That would make a lot of sense now. But I really think I don't even know if we're going to find out who the Grim Reaper is. Very well, they could just keep the mask on the whole time, wrestle the match, lose the match, disappear, and just this is their way of hyping this new type of sub-brand show. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what they did. Or it could be a reveal for a new wrestler who's going to be there full time, or a returning wrestler. Who knows? This stage, I don't even really care. I'm just looking forward to the fun.
Listen, the last time we got someone in masks, we got Mirai and Tekla, so it can be literally anything. Anything's on the table for it, but that's Stardom in Showcase Volume 1, and let's breeze through the MidSummer Champions 2022 in Nagoya show as we have 5 title matches set. For everyone that was complaining, oh, Stardom didn't load it up with title matches. Well, guess what? You get one 2 weeks later. I hope you're happy. And it's a big show. Another major show. Koguma and Hazuki defend their Goddess of Stardom championships against Mirai and Ami Sarai. Hopefully this match goes half the time that they did it last time. They have a lot. They need to redeem themselves. I think they can. I think both sides can absolutely redeem themselves. They don't have to work towards a 30-minute limit. I think that benefits them a lot. I expect this match to be good, and I do think that the champions should be retaining.
Yeah. This isn't the time to change the championships as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think Amy's ready to be holding a championship to that level. Arsis, sure, like the trios, that's one thing, but the goddess belts are they're treated with quite a bit of prestige for tag belts in wrestling. So, this isn't the time to do it. I think Hazuki and Koguma not necessarily need to continue the reign, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense.
They don't need.
I'm just hoping it's better than the last one.
Well, they don't have to do much to do that. This match is actually maybe, besides the main event, the match I'm most excited for. The Artist of Stardom Championship on the line. We have the champions Starlight Kid, Saki Kashima, and Momo Watanabe defending against the. This is if you questioned who the A team was before, this is the A team. Julia, Maika, Himeka, just an absolute stacked team of DDM going for the trios belts. The trios belts have created some of the most fun, some of the best matches over the past couple months, and this might be the best one to date. I have all the confidence that this is going to be special. Mike and Himeka work fantastic as a team, especially. Like, they're really good as singles wrestlers. I think they're best when they're together, whether they be the tag team that they only got that very short tag team title reign. They deserve another one. Or Mahime Poi, of course, I wasn't ready, Trent. You take it.
So, obviously, this is going to be really exciting. This is going to be our farewell ceremony of sorts, seeing Mahime Poi evolve into. I'm not even sure how you would fit Julia's.
Mahime Julia.
Mahime Julie? It doesn't.
I think you just have to say Julia. Because, Oh My Julia is the name. Oh my Julia. I think
so basically Julia just gets the front.
Yeah, Julia just always gets special treatment. There's a reason she has 19 rivals.
So it's going to be fun. I fully expect Saki Kashima to pin either Mike or Himeka to set up their eventual match in the 5-star Grand Prix. She's going to hit the revival. You're going to have that tension going into their singles rematch. I'm expecting this to be an absolute barn burner because all 6 of these wrestlers can really turn it on when needed, and they complement each other really well. You've got a lot of different styles that complement well. You've got the hard hitters, you've got the speed, you've got the size, you've got everything you want.
Yeah, you got a good cheat code too. That is Saki Kashima if you don't want to change the titles, but wouldn't bat an eye if they did want to change the titles.
Yeah.
I would totally understand. That's what makes these matches so exciting, because the Artist of Stardom title can literally change any match. They don't really get like a long reign. Well, I say that the last two have been record breaking, but you get the point. Usually
they were unusual. Like before then, it was literally every match was you held it for maybe 2 or 3 defenses if you were lucky, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do that again. But in saying that, I feel like this is going to be a decent reign for Oedo Tai. I don't think it ends yet because it felt like they sacrificed the Goddess run to give him this artist run. So it wouldn't make sense to drop it this soon.
I agree, but you never know. What do we got? We got high speed championship match. Azumi defense against Rina. They got physical at the press conference. You know, Rena's already calling Azumi an old hag. You know, very on brand.
Yes.
Should be good. I don't really have much to say, but you know,
this will be a fun match.
Much to it. Should be a lot of fun. That's why I like this card so much. I think all 5 of these title matches can deliver. They're all very fresh too, which is nice. Oh, well, not the tag match, but that
they've only wrestled once before.
Yeah, and I didn't like it, so like it can be fresh enough that if they do better, then it's cool. But that's that. The Wonder of Stardom title, Sayakamitani versus Saki, as we talked about previously. A good defense, a good add to the Sayakamitani reign. I think the one thing about this show that we should not expect is a lot of like title challengers. Now they do have that one in the middle of August, so we could, but I think we're more likely to get Saya's after that Kyrie match. But like for the high speed and all the other titles, we could get a challenger. We'll see.
But you can also do that in the 5-star proper. Like it
doesn't
need to be on this show to set things up.
Right.
Yeah. The beauty of the 5 stars, you always get 2 or 3 challenges to every belt. They can blow one of them at this show if it happens early enough.
That's a great point. I wonder if they did. Okay. Anyways, main event. We got Shuri versus Tam Nakano. I tweeted this the other day, as you'll be listening to this a few days later. But this was my favorite 5-star Grand Prix match that wasn't live from last year. So it wasn't on the opening shows and it wasn't on the final. They showed just great chemistry. I think that was their first. It might have not been their first singles match. Don't quote me on it, but it was one of their. It was great. No matter what, it was. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it was fantastic.
I think
Shuri, the way that Shuri and Tam can mesh their styles together works. It almost shouldn't work in a lot of ways because they're so different. Because Tam's very story based and Shuri's very okay. Let's just go in there and beat the crap out of each other. But in a lot of ways, that's what Tam does. So that's why
Tam has emotional storytelling through just slapping the hell out of people. Yeah. And Shuri kicks people really hard to tell a story. So it stylistically they don't mesh. Tam is a classic white belt wrestler. Shuri is a classic red belt wrestler. But the way they wrestle will actually work quite nicely, as seen in the press conference. Like they do have really good chemistry, even if they aren't, in a ring. Like they can dance and they can kick each other in the face, and it just works with them. Yeah, it brings out the best because it brings out Shuri's emotional side quite well through Tam, and Shuri really enhances Tam's aggressive, emotional-based storytelling.
Yeah, we've reached the point in Shuri's reign where every match feels like, she could lose. And for me, it often depends who she's facing that I have to believe that. Would it be crazy, Trent? Now, hear me out here. That Tam won, and she was the one that lost the title to Julia. It's very on brand for what they would do. You get Tam a short world title reign after all she's done for this promotion. The years she's put in, she's earned it. She's definitely earned it. If you told me she was World of the Stardom Champion, she earned it. And would it not be a storybook ending for Julia to win the top belt from Tam after Tam finally got that wonder belt from her. I'm not saying I expect it. I still expect Shuri to win, much like I expect her to win the Momo match. But they have the story there to at least make you believe, which is something I always appreciate.
Logically, my brain says they're not changing the top title a week out from their biggest tournament. Logically. But my heart tells me if they were going to do it, it's to Tam. Because you're right. They don't necessarily need to have Tam have a year-long reign. You know, they don't need to go that route with her. But it does feel like she could do a lot with the red belt, even in that short time, because she did a lot for that white belt in that. Not necessarily wasn't a short reign for her, but in a short amount of time, she kind of changed the dynamics of that belt in a really compelling way. There's no reason why she couldn't do that in the space of 5 to 6 months as a red belt champion. I'm at the point where I can convince myself that it could happen, which is the first time in Shuri's championship reign that I could do that with. I didn't buy Momo, I didn't buy Julia, Mayu, Risa Sarah, all these other matches. I can buy Tam, kind of pulling it off here. I would still pick Shuri. If I was doing a betting thing or a pick'ems thing, I would still pick Shuri. But my heart would yearn just to, it could happen, couldn't it?
It could. It could. And that means they're doing the job right as we head into the biggest tournament of the year in Joshi. Oh, boy. What a time. What a time, Trent. But that is the MidSummer Champions review, plus the mini previews for Showcase in Starterman Showcase and MidSummer Champions 2022 in Nagoya. Lots to look forward to. The next time we're back, it's going to be talking those two shows and a little bit of a 5-star preview, which is always exciting. So until then, I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can follow me on Twitter. I believe I have the banner here. Give me 1 second. At Scotty Wrestling. If you don't follow me yet, if you're listening, you don't follow me, I'm a little shocked. So mostly because I feel like if you're listening, you probably know who I am. But if you're not, please follow me there. That's where you can see all my stuff. And if you want, you can follow Trent at One Up Culture. I meant to have this earlier for Karen, but I forgot that I even had these. So she told you where to follow her. You hopefully already know her YouTube videos because those are great. But you get the point. You can do that. All that. I need to get rid of Trent's name. Thank you.
You don't. You really
no,
don't.
I did.
Keep selling me.
Thank you, Trent, for coming on. And until
Thank
next
you for having
time,
me as always.
Yeah. You're welcome. Until next time, have a good one.